I think this is about my 9th year. I started training in 2002, but I only really count, like I debuted in 04, and then kind of stood at school for kind of a lot of the time. So really, the last 3 years I've kind of been full-time, but about 9 years probably. I think the biggest, most noticeable difference is just the overall quality. I think like 10, 13 years ago, you obviously had Doug, Johnny, Jody, and then like where I was from, Hamlock, there was you know, Johnny Moss, John Ryan, Fergal Devitt. But perhaps like the undercards and like, you know, the opening matches weren't quite up to scratch. Whereas I think now there's, you know, perhaps 20 top British guys that are having great matches, and then there's kind of more than that, you know, kind of that can have good solid matches and that like a credit to British wrestling. So I think that's the big difference now, like their overall quality. Obviously there's still some poor quality wrestlers, but you can have like a top level British show just with British wrestlers now. It's interesting, I do get asked this. I think it's not even in terms of necessarily the crowds, because sometimes, you know, we'll do shows in Japan in front of a few hundred people, but you know, the difference when I'm there is that I'm with a professional company. There's an office, there's a ring crew, there's media at every show. You know, even on the small non-televised events, you might get interviewed by Weekly Pro Wrestling magazine, or I had a title match a couple of months ago, and just after training at the dojo, kind of strolled down, and there was someone from Tokyo Sports newspaper to have a 5-minute interview with me like this. So that's like, in my opinion, the difference is still the media interest, the presentation as well. I think content-wise, whilst Japanese style is different, you know, everyone has kind of travelled and the styles are a bit more merged, but I think the presentation of the show's there, and it still feels like a sporting event. So I kind of think when you know, come back to Europe or more Western style wrestling, it is very much a kind of night at the theatre, or a kind of you know, family friendly fun. It's kind of it's more in the marketing maybe. Ishimori, I'd say. What I like about Noah is it's such a varied company that I get to kind of show off who I am as a wrestler in different matches. So if I'm in the opening match against a young boy, then you're going to see just my British wrestling, just lots of technical wrestling, British style. But then, you know, I might be in the semi-main event in a tag match against Kenta, so I'm going to kick him, you know, I'm going to keep up my share of the kicks with Kenta, so I think I get to show how versatile I am. But as an overall part, I kind of get to do a bit of everything with Ishimori. Like he's a real student as well, like he's travelled over, so like he likes British wrestling, so we do some British wrestling. He might do some of the Mexican stuff that he's learnt with Ultimo, and then we can kind of do like a Japanese junior style match as well. So yeah, I'd say overall it's my favourite, but they keep me on my toes with everyone. With kind of 2 days as such, like a day off is a day off without a show, but that means training. So we you get up about 9 AM and we tidy the dorm where we all stay, like the young wrestlers and like some of the foreign wrestlers when we're there. We head up to the dojo about 10, kind of start stretching, like cleaning the dojo, get everything ready. About 11, kind of the young wrestlers come and we all train as a group for a couple of hours. Then the young boys will go down and make food, and we kind of weight train and do our own training once we kind of finish training with everyone. Then kind of midday you eat chanko, which is like a sumo stew.
Okay. A
lot of culture in Japanese pro wrestling has come from sumo. So you all eat together, and then you kind of finish for the day about 5 PM. So I'm an explorer. Once we finish training, 5 PM, I just go out, go to Shibuya, get a coffee, hang out, go look at some temples. Like Tokyo's an amazing city, and then you've got a tour day. Mm-hmm. So obviously when we're on tour, like, life out there is so easy. You just get on the bus, you travel to the arena, get there a few hours early, you'll group train. Not as intense as the dojo because you don't have the time, but you kind of do a mini dojo day. There's weight training equipment there, and then do the match, get back on the bus, go to a hotel. It seems like a cliche, but they're two of my favourite people. I was really lucky that in about a year period I got to wrestle Adam a bunch in Germany and in America, and yeah, instantly one of my favourite opponents. And then Dave, I've been very lucky to wrestle him multiple times over the years, and more importantly I've got to travel a lot with Dave, so I think we have a similar outlook on pro wrestling. But I think like the most important part is that like the three of us all have the same passion, like we, you know, absolutely breathe it. And kind of we look at it as like an athletic part too. Like wrestling should be fun and entertainment, but we all dedicate ourselves as athletes too, and that's the ethos of Suplex.